What's up guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Joe. Now to start off with the first video on this channel, I think there's some loan situations that I don't think enough people are talking about. Now obviously Chelsea has loads of academy players coming into the ranks trying to make the first team. Obviously our transfer ban has been reduced by one transfer window and we can definitely buy more players. With all that being said, there are currently 27 players on loan at the club at the moment. Now most notable of these 27 players are Baba Rahman, Matt Miazga, the other American everyone's forgetting about, Davide Zappacosta, the man who scored that amazing debut goal and then did next to nothing afterwards, the 19-year-old Juan Castillo, the Welshman Ethan Ampadu. No, not that one. This Ethan Ampadu. The very talented Conor Gallagher. The other Croatian everyone forgot about, Mario Pasalic. Danny Drinkwater. Danny, only drink water. Timur Bakayoko, who's back at Monaco. The Nigerian international, Victor Moises. Lucas Piazon, remember him? The kid who was supposed to be the next Ronaldo, the next Hazard, Charlie Masunda. Kennedy, 1N. The 21-year-old Ike Upo. And now for the next two, I would like to thank Borussia Dortmund and RB Leipzig for taking such good care of our players, and now we'd like to have them back, please. Now before you guys go crazy in the comments, yes I know, Timo Werner and Jadon Sancho aren't really on loan from Chelsea. Now with that being said, I would be absolutely livid if we don't end up landing the two players, especially Timo Werner. Jadon Sancho is an incredible player. He is great friends with lots of the Chelsea players, the Hudson-Odoi, Mason Mount, Fikayo Tomori, Ruben Loftus-Cheek. With all that being said, with the price of Timo Werner, his playing style, his ability, and the fact that he's already a proven striker both for his club, in his league, and for the national team, I do think he would be a better player for the club, at least in the short run. He is a young player, and I remember back when Aguero was linked to Chelsea, back when he was at Atletico Madrid, and then he ended up going to Manchester City instead. And all the goals he scored against us. Timo Werner is absolutely in the mode of Aguero. With that being said, of course, I would love to have both of them, but there is absolutely no way we can fail to land Timo Werner. Now, Matt Lowe reporting, FIFA will be ratifying a new law on loans that's going to affect non-domestic loans for ages 21 and under or 23 and under. And the cap is most likely going to be 6, 7, or 8 players per club. Now obviously with the way Chelsea has been doing loans in the past, especially with a number of our players going to teams like Vitesse, the club would have to look for a new way of doing things. With the number of players that we currently have on loan, many of which are 25 and over, it may be better off to sell a lot of these players and instead send younger academy players off on loan, especially after seeing what going on loan does to players like Fikayo Tomori, Mason Mount, and the great benefit that it does have on these players. And the first player we're going to talk about is Davide Zappacosta, the 27-year-old right back who is currently on loan at Roma. He started off decently well at Roma, and then in October he tore his ACL. So he never really fit into the team, scored that people were always surprised why he was ever bought in the first place. I think he was Zappacosta really a rotational squad member. I never really thought he was going to play over Marcos Alonso, especially with the way Marcos Alonso was playing under Antonio Conte. After Antonio Conte left, we pretty much knew that was it for Davide Zappacosta. He's a better wing back than he is a right back. And with the current injury and him having to spend the entire season recovering, I can pretty much see him leaving as soon as he recovers and comes back from loan. However, for his age and the amount of output, even when he was fit, I think it would be better if Zappacosta was sold, and we could probably get somewhere in the order of 35 or 40 million out of him. Now on to Kennedy, 23 years old, 5'11", 16 appearances, 2 goals, 4 assists for Getafe. The guy's been at the club for a while now, and he did have some pretty good loans out, especially at Newcastle. He never really broke through in the first team, and even though he's 23, which is relatively young, for the number of players that we have in the Chelsea team at the moment and how talented they are, I really don't see Kennedy coming through. With all that being said though, Kennedy is pretty talented. He's very versatile, he's got a left foot, he can be very flamboyant. It's just that end product that's often lacking, and I think a mid-table team will do him better than a top team like Chelsea. And now for the young kid with a fresh haircut, Ethan Ampadu, 19 years old, 6 feet tall, 15 appearances, 10 for Wales, and 1 assist for Wales. I do feel for the kid. I think he's a much better defensive center mid than he is a center back. And when you're competing against top center backs at the top team in the Bundesliga at the moment, RB Leipzig, who are having to follow Borussia Dortmund, Borussia Mönchengladbach, and Bayern Munich, it's going to be very difficult to get any playing time. For a kid who's so good on the ball, so calm on the ball, I think he would do a lot better if he came back to England. Perhaps a top team in the Championship or a mid-table team in the Premier League, got some consistent playing time, and played more often as a defensive center mid like he does for Wales. Now for the 25-year-old Ghanaian defender, Baba Rahman. I do have to say, when he was first brought by Jose Mourinho, the kid was talented, and everyone thought he was going to be a future Chelsea star. He went off to Schalke, ended up being one of their better players that season, and then injury after injury after injury. Absolutely feel for the kid. With that being said, at 25 years old, with a number of talented players we have coming in through the academy, I don't think he's got much of a future at Chelsea, although I wouldn't mind him staying. But if he does stay, it would have to be with the first squad as a rotational player, not really being sent on loan. If he's going to continue to be sent on loan, then maybe better to just sell him off on a permanent. Victor Moses, 28 years old, 7 appearances for Fenerbahce, 1 goal, 1 assist. Contract ending in 2021. Chelsea players have known this guy for a while. He came through from Wigan. I believe he was with us when we won the Champions League, and went on various loans, and finally with Antonio Conte coming in, it turns out the guy's a fantastic wingback. And then Antonio Conte left, and there went Victor Moses' playing time. To be fair to the guy, he was a fantastic wingback, but he was never really good enough to be a winger for a top team like Chelsea, and certainly not a good enough defender for Chelsea. Victor Moses was always stuck between this weird limbo where he was a decent attacker, a great wingback, and a decent defender. But outside the team that played with wingbacks, he never really found a spot. So considering his age, the recurring injuries, and the fact that he doesn't really fit in the system, I don't really think it would be worth much of the club's time or his time to keep him on loan or to keep him as a rotational player with the club. It may be better to just send him off to maybe a club like Inter, where Antonio Conte would certainly love to have him back, or even Lazio, an Italian club that does play with wingbacks. Timothy Bakayoko, 25 years old, 6 feet 2, 14 appearances, and 1 assist for Monaco. I have to say, the man's had a pretty good season with Monaco, although I think he's too good for the club. He just doesn't fit in at Chelsea, and he's sort of in the same boat as Victor Moses. A decent enough player, not good enough for Chelsea, but certainly too good for the club where he's at. Now, we all remember that fantastic season Bakayoko had with Monaco, and then he was signed by Chelsea. After that, he was sent on loan to AC Milan, had a bit of a rough start, and finished off very well. Now, Bakayoko is a pretty good player. Came back to Chelsea, went back on loan to Monaco, and at that age, you could probably get somewhere in the order of 45 or 50 million for him. I think that would certainly be more worthwhile than keeping him on loan. Danny Drinkwater. Now, when the man isn't getting injured on and off the field, he's getting into fights at bars. But we all remember Danny Drinkwater at Leicester City, with N'Golo Kante, Riyad Mahrez, Jamie Vardy winning the Premier League. But the 29-year-old we currently have isn't the same Danny Drinkwater. Ever since Mauricio Sarri came to Chelsea, the man has barely had a sniff of game time. And when he was sent on loan to Burnley, he's had an absolutely terrible time there, barely getting any playing time. And when he did, he was absolutely thrashed by Manchester City. And then he was loaned back out to Aston Villa, and again, he was absolutely destroyed by Manchester City. And most of the goals, of course, were his fault. Needless to say, it is time to get rid of Danny Drinkwater. I do think he's a good player. He's just had a terrible form lately. And by lately, I mean the entire season, or really the entire past 2 years. But he could probably do well in like a mid-table Premier League team or lower level Premier League team. But he's certainly not Chelsea level. And now for my favorite, the other Croatian we have, Mario Pasalic. 24 years old, 6'2", 26 appearances, 6 goals and 5 assists for Atalanta. And one of those goals coming against Manchester City in the Champions League. I do have to say, the kid is pretty good. The guy can play as a center mid, attacking center mid, and sometimes even as a forward. And he's shown all the attributes we look for in a Frank Lampard type of midfielder. The surging runs into the box and the finishing ability. So after 2 years, I think he is finally showing his worth. And for his playing style, his stature, the amount of output, I will say he is not unlike many of the players we're constantly being linked with. Now, I don't think he's quite good enough to be a consistent starting player for the club. I don't think he's as good as Kovacic. I don't think he's as good as Kante, not Jorginho, not Ruben Loftus-Cheek, not even Barkley. But considering the types of midfielders we've constantly been linked with, and for his age, he is only 24, I am surprised that he's being passed over. But it's no surprise that Atalanta is finally cashing in on their option to buy. Reports are coming out that they will be buying him for somewhere around 12 or 15 million. It seems a bit low for how good I think he is, but it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if the club decided to keep him instead of selling him. Well, that's all I have for you guys. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment below. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you agree, disagree, why. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.